Hey everyone, and welcome back to Episode Club. Today we are going to be talking Season 6, Episode 1, The Red Woman. And joining me today, as always, is Johnny B. Crazy, aka Johnny B. Baelish. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, Sasa. Thank you for having me on. This is a pretty fun episode. The episode we were all waiting for a while. Uh, for Jon Snow, hashtag that butt to come back. So, this was fun. Yeah. I believe it kind of starts off with the howling. Oh! So we get to hear Ghost. Maybe we'll hear Ghost in season 8.
Maybe.
Ha!
Yeah. This episode was long awaited. Most people kind of figured he was coming back either as a body or as an actual human because the actor was spotted on set. So to kind of have this episode to be the buffer, it's a good episode, but we just want him to come back, obviously. So yes, like you said, you hear Ghost howling, and then Davos discovering John's body, and them sheltering his corpse. So when you first kind of watched this, how did you feel like that this was a good way to start this season and this episode?
I mean, it's alright. First off, I was really hoping he'd come back this episode, but they pulled the old okey doke on us. It's very tragic. Ghost can't get out. It just kind of puts you where it left us off at the end of season 5, right? You're still in this emotional roller coaster, jutted right back into it. You think you're going to get a slight reprieve, but this is the first thing you see. And the Onion Wizard, Davos, finds him, thank God for Davos at this point. And, well, they just make some good preparations. You got to love Dolores Ed. It's just, I don't know, it's really good. Because this is where the books really left off of John. Now, John's throat was slit in the books, but, this is enough. They didn't have to overkill, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of fitting. The new Lord Commander closing the eyes of the old Lord Commander. We don't know this yet, but that's pretty good. Also, something we see later in this episode, if I'm not mistaken, is Tristan making one of those creepy eyeballs for the dead people.
Yes, that's part
What
of
the
it.
hell is he making those for?
I guess Marcella.
I don't know what this timeline is. Did they just stay on the boat for a couple of days before they decided to kill Tristan? I'm so confused. Or was he didn't sail with them? It's confusing.
I think, yeah, because the girls they find him and they end up killing him. So
it seems like he's in a ship, though, but I could be wrong.
I know D&D kind of jump different, like every storyline kind of has a different timeline. So obviously this is obviously this is literally maybe 30 minutes after it has happened. And then this timeline is much different than Cersei and more the Cersei Doran plot stuff, which is different than Dany and the Tyrion stuff and the Arya. So it's kind of hard.
They could at least put a month, the month of the wolf. Or I don't know. They could do something. They could make some kind of timeline where I find it a little cheap, just a little bit. This is why they're able to jump so far. This is why Dany can fly Drogon without resting, which is impossible, by the way. If you read the books, they have to rest. More than likely, usually at least 2 times on their way to the wall, especially from Dragonstone. Maybe even more, but whatever. That's fine. I'll deal with it. So the other issue is have nothing to do with time.
Mm.
Like the time I can deal with because it's a TV show and this is a great TV show. But I won't get into my issues until we get to those episodes.
Yeah.
Well, Sandra, have you ever seen her looking so distraught? Besides after what happened with Shireen, she just seems lost. Like she, she doesn't have any faith. And we see at the end of this episode that, well, goodness gracious, she's been looking for a long time. So, yeah, you have to be crushed at that point. You think she was contemplating suicide?
Or at least trying to live out majority of her she probably maybe was, but she'd have to like wear her glamour to then go away to then I guess turn into her old self, like her old age self. Because in this, when she sees that John's dead, she says, "I saw him in the flames fighting at Winterfell." So her faith is ultimately like broken because we see that in this that she just after she doesn't believe in Stannis anymore, she kind of just leaves him high and dry in the last episode.
I wish we'd have got more visions from her.
Mm-hmm.
Her trying to. It would have been hard with, she couldn't describe it to herself, and we'd have to be shown what she's seeing. So, yeah, I see why they didn't do it, but I kind of wish we would get a little more mysticism. I want more magic, not just dragons. Dragons are cool, but I don't know. I want to see a little bit more of the magic, but not too much. You see all of it. It kills the thrill of it, the mystery. Sorry for cutting you off.
No. Yeah, and she says I saw him fighting at Winterfell. So and Davos it's like I can't speak for the flames, but he's gone. So Mel has really lost the one person she kind of put a lot of, I guess, stake in, which is John, and John being this great person after Stannis. Because you can kind of see that when she first meets John, her, I guess, stance with Stannis is a little bit wavering still, even though she is pretty much shown to be 100% behind Stannis. That John could be
point. This
be a good option.
More for breaking point too, right?
Yeah, this is her complete breaking point. That the one person that she thought could be good next to Stannis is like the one person that people would follow, and who she would follow because we obviously see that when they're burning the men of the Night's Watch that died in the battle for the Wall. She looks at John and she's very precarious about that. She's just kind of like, So she's
probably feel the magic coming off of him. Making him more of a ward would have helped that translate better for the TV show, in my opinion.
Yeah, and in this, she's kind of losing faith in herself and in her people. Almost, she's like in the Red God because the lore showed her Snow and showed her John, and now that John's gone, seemingly, she's having a crisis of faith because she's like, who am I supposed to follow next? Or what do I do now?
Well, maybe the Lord of Light will show her the way, as he does sometimes. Dolores Ed, and Davos reminds him that, they're not the only ones that they owe John's life to.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, that John has saved a few people's lives. And Ed's going to go get help. Go get the wolf. Ghost, #free ghost. Everyone, as they know, shout out to Gray Area, who started that a while back. And this is good. You kind of are left vaguely wondering where Dolores Ed went. But if you think about it, he's going to the wildlings. But I think it's really, really cool how they set it up. You got Alistair Thorne here having his little meeting. and him, Bowen Marsh, Otto Yarwick, Ollie, a few others confess killing Jon and say why they did it, and basically justify themselves in doing so. And you can argue a case for both ways, honestly, but murder is murder, and killing your Lord Commander, you know, you could argue for him being cast down or maybe demoted, but killing him, that's too far. But the wall is, half horrible criminals. You gotta think a lot of people are probably in there for shit they didn't even do, but it's no more than half. Because back then you didn't need any proof. You could just accuse something on someone you didn't like, and they'd get imprisoned. So same way Pip got to the wall, The Lord touched his wingy ding. His Lord touched his dongo.
Yeah, so it's told to us that it was Yarwick, Alistair, and what's his name? Frick. And then he said, and the other officers. So they don't state that it was Ollie. So they think that it was, so all these men think it was the high-ranking people who made the decision and not Ollie wasn't involved and Ollie isn't implicated in this. It's not until, spoiler alert, Jon comes back that he realizes also Ollie was involved as well, and that the other people realize that it had killed the Lord Commander. But not a lot of these people are happy that Jon has been brutally murdered. He's been only Lord Commander for maybe 2 months or something like that. And he's been murdered, and they don't like it, especially with being faced with Alistair Thorne as your interim Lord Commander and probably official commander in the end.
Well, a lot of them agree with him.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them feel that way. Yeah. A lot of them hate the wildlings with a passion. They don't look at them as people.
People?
Yeah, they don't look at them as people.
Mm-hmm.
Am I freezing or something?
Yeah, you froze for 2 seconds, that's why.
I was just saying they don't look at them as people. They see them as less than human at this point, and always have. That's kind of how they were brought up and raised to think. All these stories, like old Nan tales of the wildlings. You have the Belle the Bard story. You have the story of Grendel and I can't remember his name. Stuck under the wall. You have the sentinels frozen in the wall. So you can understand. Plus, seeing what they've seen, always seeing what he's seen. Of course, they don't know about it yet, but other people have had run-ins with the wildlings, and neither one of them are nice to one another. So it's a step in both directions. The fact that the wildlings even came this far willingly says a bunch about how much danger they're at.
How much danger they're actually in. Very true. And we get the second part of this where Ghost is not happy. Ghost is a little sad, and this is where Davos is like, you all don't. You're not the only one to owe your lives to Jon Snow, and this is where Davos sends Ed on the mission to get the wildlings, while the rest of them stay in the room with Jon. But it's kind of cute that Ghost was trying to sniff out Davos, because we obviously don't see Ghosts very much in this season. I think this is one of the only times we see Ghost this entire season. So to have this is kind of a good thing, and with John still being dead, like it's weird because probably for Kit having to pretend to be dead for so long must have been like funny, but also just like annoying at the same time because you have to hold your breath at certain points in time.
Yes. Like I'm trying to play someone in a coma.
Yeah, it's, it was hard. And Ed makes the decision that he's going to go get the wildlings, and it proves that hey, he could potentially be a good person after, or once John comes back and the bad people are dead, and becoming Lord Commander. So, I think also here too, later on, it's where they have to figure out what Alistair Thorne wants, but that's a bit later, near the end of this episode.
Yeah. I already gave my spill on it.
Yeah.
I went ahead and linked them trackers together on accident just because it's hard not to keep talking about the whole thing.
And if we jump to the end of the episode, which is where we see the wall next. So we get the wall at the beginning and the end of this episode.
And they're all pointlessly pointing crossbows at a hallway. Not even the door, it's a hallway.
Yeah.
Don't understand. They must be really afraid of ghosts, for one. Just fine. It's just a dire wolf. Yeah, it can kill you, but it's kind of overkill here. Yeah, exactly. I don't know what they're shooting. Right? I guess if anybody comes out, killed them. He wants it covered. I mean, Thorne is serious with this shit. Davos, who took him a little grandpa nap, he's got to rest up for taking care of the magic baby later. And well, Davos wants some mutton. He's not a very good hunter, so he buys a little bit of time for them just by being funny, which I think it's good. But, to Alicia Thorne's credit, he does give them an opportunity to just walk away. Now, would he have been a man of his word? I think so. He was a man of his word when he killed John. He even said it when he stabbed him. It's a tough thing. But it doesn't seem in this situation he'd let them go. But it's not like, what is Davos going to do? Go run to a king and say, oh, the Night's Watch commander was killed by the new Night's Watch commander. I don't care. They're not going to give a shit. So he might have let them go. I don't know. Rant by Johnny.
Yeah. It's very true. And with Davos kind of makes a treaty. He's like, well, come back to me in a few hours and we'll give you an answer. And Alistair Thorne's like, damn it. Obviously, because they have to buy time for the second episode. Even Alistair Thorne mentions you can take the Red Woman with you, which I don't know if Davos would really want to do that. A solo adventure with Melisandre. Probably not his most.
Everybody's trying to pawn off the Red Woman on the other person. You can have her. No, you can have her, bro. No, you can have her.
Yeah. And this is with talking about Mel. One of the soldiers, I can't remember, or one of the Night's Watchmen, can't remember if he's ever given a name or not, but he says, what does one redhead do against 40 armed men? And Davos is like, you haven't seen her do what I've seen her do.
And she doesn't do anything against 40 armed men.
Yeah.
So this is not foreshadowing. But no, you haven't seen her do what I've seen her do either. Is Davos hasn't seen her raise anyone from the dead. So, but he has heard of what's happened. Not heard. No, he hasn't heard, but he does think she may know something.
Mhm.
And this is when we get the story about Beric Dondarrion. Is it in this episode when she comes in? Does he tell
No,
that? No, she
it's
says
just
later.
it's just them talking about Mel, and what she can do, and then it just jumps to her sitting alone
Oh, okay.
in her room
Yeah, it's not the next episode.
and taking off that necklace.
Oh, don't show it, please.
No.
No, and you know the power of bathwater, right? The water must have been like an illusion where when she had the glamour off in season 2 that no, I'm joking. That was just one continuity error out of a couple. Marine has no door or no gate in the wall in one of the scenes when they're outside meeting with the oh my gosh, I can't even remember the Carthene. What are they called? Something of 12. Can't remember now.
Yeah, the 13 liters of cars.
I was the 13. Anyways, whatever. Um, Mel right here, yeah, you kind of, it's crazy. So she's said to be 400 years old. I don't know if they know the exact date. I predict she comes from Hardhome right before the last disaster at Hardhome,
The wiki,
which
the Game
was
of Thrones wiki says she's 401 years old as of this episode. But that's the game.
well, they would have to know her exact origins then, and the date she was born to say 401 years old. I don't know, but she may be around that. My theory is more that she, she may have came from Hardhome. We know some 300 years ago, some slave traders landed there. And in the books around this time, the same thing kind of happens. Every 300 years, there's seemingly some sort of disaster that goes up in fire and then followed by the others. So it's pretty intriguing.
Mhm.
She could be 401 years old, and they have been told something about Germ that we haven't figured out yet because, some people think she's sure a sea star, which she would be younger than 401 at that point. And then some people think, I don't know, even if she's Alyssa Farman, right? She wouldn't even be that old. I don't know. I do think she's from Hardhome in the end, but she may be that old. Who the hell knows? I'm just rambling, but I don't know. It's creepy, gross,
Yeah.
weird, but it really signifies everything that she is. And then you think about Stannis sleeping with her and John touching her bosoms.
But that's young Mel. So, and Gendry almost getting with her, but that was young Mel.
Mel. Not young Mel, it's glamored Mel. That's her at her core. She's a rotten apple.
But that's one way to really end a season opener, though, is Mel not saying anything, just taking off her necklace and becoming the woman that she actually is. Because if you go and watch reaction videos to this episode, when this episode came out, people were just like, "No, I don't want to see it," because I was old lady nudity, for lack of a better term. But hey, the old lady. Props to the old lady who was her body double in this, or her stunt double, if you want to call that a stunt double. But props to the old lady who was brave enough.
It's the same body double that did Cersei in the Walk of.
Huh?
That was a joke.
No, you said same body double as Cersei, and then you dropped for a second.
In the Walk of Shame.
Huh.
Well, she had the body double too, if no one knows.
Yes. I think we mentioned that. But yeah, she does. And yeah, Mel is just being Mel. But yeah, so we'll pick up with her next episode where she does some of her magic. We'll go, I guess, a little bit south to but we're still in the north with Ramsay and Roose Bolton. And
I did like feed it to the dogs. Yeah, Ramsay has this weird fascination. I was reading the part in the book, and it's so funny. Theon says Reek's, well, when Ramsay is Reek, says Reek's lips look like two worms fucking.
oh no.
And this just shows how much he loves someone, which is that much.
Yeah. Yeah,
Not capable of love.
because Maester Wolken asks, because obviously we find that Miranda has actually died and that they've recovered her body. And Maester Wolken's like, do you want a grave? Do you want a funeral pyre? And Ramsay's like, no, those are not good enough. I want my dogs to eat her. It's like, boy, really? Really?
Well, I need the wood for warmth later, so he doesn't want to waste that.
I guess. But and then I guess he doesn't. But then does that begs the question: does he not want Miranda to come back as a? And I guess he doesn't want Miranda to
No,
come
he
back
said he
as a
also
wife.
didn't want to waste good meat either.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh well, this just is just scene, and we obviously know now that that the Maester that is at Winterfell right now is Maester Wolken, who lasts a long time, and then we see Bruce and Ramsay having the conversation about how they've defeated Stannis, and Bruce wants to give a lordship or something to the person who kills Stannis, and that Ramsay needs an heir. If only
Well, he
Bruce.
screwed that up, so now look at the Daddy. No, I have to kill you now. Later. Daddy.
Next episode. But yeah, it's just Ramsay is in a difficult spot because 5 minutes ago he was the perfect child, and now that
in between a Reek and a Walda.
Yeah, and he lost his wife and his plaything, so he's not doing so well in the eyes of Dad because
his wife ran off with his favorite toy.
Yeah, and Dad's not happy because he needs to have a kid, and Ramsay is failing in that aspect right now. That part of it is a quick scene. So the next kind of part of this is Sansa and Brienne and Theon. So we see kind of where Sansa and Theon have kind of ended up, and they're running through the woods, trying to get away from the Bolton men as fast as possible.
Yeah, Theon's trying his damnedest. He's gonna die to get her away, and well, they would have died. They were gonna stay there, die together. For the most part, they Thelma and Louised it until Brienne and Lightbringer and Podrick showed up. Podrick wipes out a dude, and then he almost wipes out a dude, but he accidentally, left some Vaseline on his forefinger, and the sword slipped out of his hand. It's pretty cool, though. Theon gets some redemption by stabbing dude in the back of the head, and Sansa, watch out. Brienne pledged her sword to you, and the last two people she's pledged her sword to. This is the only thing I see that makes me think Sansa may die, but I'm pretty sure she's gonna live. I just think it's pretty hilarious. Third time's a charm, right, Brienne? You did a great job, Brienne. Nothing against Brienne, but damn, she got some bad luck when it comes to protecting people. Like, you can't stop a shadow baby. And then what happened to Catelyn? Well, she wasn't there.
Yeah.
And if she was, she would have probably just died as well.
Mhm.
Although I know she would have took out a bunch of them son of a bitches with her. I know that much. Pretty sure her
Yeah.
Walder Frey wouldn't have made it if Brienne was there.
Yeah, she would have been hard pressed to die first. Yeah, Podrick shows that he's learning how to kill people on horseback because he actually did it. Yay, Podrick! um, and they obviously, because the Bolton army is like, it's a bloody woman. Like, they're actually surprised that Brienne is like a woman can, like, Brienne can do what she does. So that's um, interesting, take a shot thing. And even Theon, he's kind of coming out of his weakness, being away from Ramsay, um, by taking care of Sansa, trying to protect her, um, giving her the opportunity to run away. But obviously, that isn't needed because they have Bran and Podrick showing up. And this second half of the scene where Brienne bends her knee to Sansa is reflective of obviously when Catelyn swore, uh, uh, when she swore to Catelyn, sorry, and Sansa either has forgotten um, the words to, of, swearing allegiance or such, uh, but Podrick is there to help her because, gotta have a smart Podrick over there in the corner to help you. Um, and she says, I will pledge to ask no service of you that will bring you dishonor. Um, so it could be so she's not Sansa says she won't ask Bran to do something that she doesn't seem like that Bran wouldn't do. It's everything she would ask her to do. She wants Bran to do. And it's a sweet scene because it shows that Sansa's a lot like Catelyn in this. She could be her mother's daughter by being bitter and all of these other things. But I feel like Sansa will always do the right thing and do the right thing that her mother either couldn't bring herself to do, or um, do that, because if she was to completely go into Catelyn Tully, then it, it it doesn't make too much sense. But
You
also,
would have to have a bunch of kids, neglect a few of them, have paper. Like, that's not, we don't have time for all that.
yeah, and yeah, this is also too after where Theon says that he's going home. Yeah, sorry for the laundry in the background. But yeah, they want to.
She's going to find Daenerys' hair in an odd place, and she's going to be like, aha, it was a Targaryen. And then she's going to blame Jon, even though they have different hair color, just like,
Yeah,
Tyrion was blamed. Oh, God, whatever. Go ahead.
yeah, and because we finished in the north, we might as well go down to King's Landing, or as Drinks and Nose says, take a Jojen train to King's Landing, where we see Cersei see that her daughter has not made it back alive, which is oh so painful. Woman's
Well,
scorn.
I'm going to give my little spill and let you go for it, because Cersei is just destroyed by prophecy here. It's eating her alive. And she says as much for the most part. The Golden Shroud. It has to be the worst thing for any parent. The second time now. Now she's just expecting Tommen to die. So when he planks out the window, that's why it's not as such a big deal. It is for her on the inside, but she's learning how to put up even more armor than she has before. Yeah, I'll let you go because there's some more stuff here.
Yeah, it's she see the her handmaiden says that there's a ship, a Dornish ship in the harbor, and she's all like excited and giddy at the idea of seeing her daughter again because the last time Cersei sees Marcella is season 2. I think episode 9 or not episode 9, season 2, like episode 4 or 5, or very early on in this show, is the last time Cersei sees Marcella. Obviously, that's the Marcella point 1.0. But yeah, Cersei hasn't seen her daughter in so long, and for a mother to not see their daughter for so long must be like so heart wrenching and heartbreaking. And then to have her come back to Cersei only to have her dead, that may bring a huge thought process of would she would have lived if I had left this alone and been in Dorne. She probably would have um, lived much longer than she had if I hadn't asked her to come home, or if I hadn't sent Jamie to send her to come home. Like that might be also playing through her head as well. Even though it's prophecy that Marcella was supposed to die, um, just the idea of maybe sending Jamie to Dorne may have sped this process up faster,
Don't
in a
you always
sense.
wish you always have what ifs? What if you would have done something different?
Mhm. Yeah, and it's hard for Cersei to kind of come to this because when she's alone with Jamie, she's talking about how when she was a young girl, how she thought about her mother after um, she had died. So she thought about Joanna and how Joanna must have looked the days and weeks and months after she had died, which is a horrible thing to kind of picture and imagine, and even to really think about. But it's a valid point in a sense, and um, even Jamie is like, don't think about that, especially with Marcella. Like you'll drive yourself absolutely insane thinking of how she looks now. Just remember her pretty much for the beauty that she was. Same thing for their mother, um, which is just it. It's just sad, and it's Jamie also realizing that this prophecy had come true, and that it's a thing that exists. But man, it's hard for Cersei to deal with this because she also mentions that Marcella was this sweet, kind little girl, and she recognizes in herself that she's not this sweet and pure um, person. That she has evil and in some sort of evil or bad thoughts inside, and
Oh, she'd been knowing that.
yeah, to like, but to admit it and to put it, like project it into the world is it's the different thing. Um, Again, this brings up the whole like, what if? Because Marcella is still alive, right, in the book.
Yes.
Um, so who knows what they may do with her in the book? Do you have any thoughts on this?
Oh yeah, I said them in the beginning.
Oh, right. Sorry. Um, so, uh, the next person we see in King's Landing is Marjorie, and she's getting the confess um, treatment from Septa Umbrella. uh, and yeah, this is um, it's a weird scene, but You got to torture Natalie Dormer a little bit. Natalie Dormer fans. So, what do you think about Septa Umbrella um, being mean to Queen Marjorie?
It's the MO, right? It's got to get got to make them struggle and suffer to bring them down to what common people have went through. And plus, she's probably taken out a little bit of frustration as well. She likes it. You can tell she digs being the Undertaker. Um, it's funny. The Sparrow uses her. He's pretty manipulative. Yeah, he plays pretty innocent, but he plays the Game of Thrones. He plays for keeps, and well, I think Marjorie's catching on a little bit to the game. She wants to see Loras, but can't do it without certain conditions. You know.
Yeah, she wants to see her brother and kind of care for him, but uh, the High Sparrow's like, not today, um, which is it. This is just a quick scene, but yeah, Marjorie's still being held captive, and it's not fair. And Tommy doesn't like it. um, but we can.
Also, the High Sparrow is all of a sudden Syrio Pharrell now.
Yeah, maybe that's who he is. Bum bum bum. New tinfoil theory out there.
Either way, that means Syrio Pharrell's dead, I guess.
Um, so the next scene that we get is Dorne and this stupid ass scene. So,
Death by toothpick, stab, dramatic talk overwards, blah blah. Nothing to say.
it's, it's just
Nothing to say.
so
And the people
bad.
keep getting whiter in Dorne, which is impossible. It's weird. Do you
Yeah.
notice the guards back there? It's like, I don't know, man. I don't know what they were thinking with Dorne. They just wanted to. I don't know. I really don't know what they were thinking here. I don't know what they were thinking with all of this.
Uh, I guess because they just want Alaria to be in power, but still at the same time, it's like, what's the point? Because she holds no title, she's nothing in Dorne. She's the uh girlfriend, for lack of a better term, paramour of a dead prince. So she's
I
like
mean,
nothing.
well, there's a reason for people to rally behind her, but they haven't shown in the show any reason for them to. They haven't shown the people doing anything,
Mm-hmm.
standing there like statues. And Dorne's not that type of place. It's like a party place.
Yeah, Dorne, they love to party, and they're not having many more parties anymore. And as you can see, Prince Duran gets the message that Marcella has been murdered, or that has died, and he's like, "Oh no," because he's also then fearful for his own son in a sense. But yeah, Ariel Hota, who's supposed to be one of the best fighters in
I
Dorne.
mean, he goes down with like getting stabbed with a 1 inch blade. Like, he goes down like a sack of potatoes from nothing. And
Yeah.
then Duran gets stabbed in the heart. Oh my God, this is awful. And Duran gets stabbed in the heart, and he just lives for a little while afterwards, which would probably happen, but not really. If you get stabbed in the heart pretty quick. But this right here, there's no. Well, she would have had to stab him like right in the base of the neck, and that's not happening. She's like just hitting him in the shoulder. Like, how did he die from a knife to in between the shoulder? I don't know, man.
I don't know.
Weird.
Well, they could have used poison or
Um,
something,
just
but
a bad sloppy scene. I don't know what to say about
yeah, it could have been much better, but it was. Which just makes it just more awful. Um,
it.
or
Really
worse.
destroyed the episode for me.
it suspends your disbelief in an entire scene, and then we get these bitches killing off Prince Trystane, and what did this guy
For
do?
no apparent reason at all. Like, there's no reason for this. Other than, oh, he might become the prince, whatever. If the people aren't around him, then that's not how it works in Dorne. Like, oh, we have to kill, and then they can't even give a fair fight. Got to stab you in the back of the head because she's so scared of you, and then she acts like she's good because you stabbed someone when they weren't looking.
Mhm.
I'm confused here, man. This is just not right.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's
Whatever.
it's not my favorite like plotline of this entire series. Like this is just annoying and everything. But we've kind of said our piece that this is just stupid and doesn't add up. Um, the next, where we'll go next is Marine, where we see Tyrion and Varys. And this is the scene, one of the more famous of the latter scenes with Tyrion, where he tells a woman that because his Valyrian or Myronese is so bad that she wants to eat the woman's baby, but Varys is like, no, he wants to give you money to feed your baby, and it just shows that Tyrion's not very good at other languages besides the common tongue.
I think it's Valyrian. Is it Valyrian?
I would assume it's Valyrian.
Yeah, it's Valyrian.
So
That's funny. Yeah, Tyrion wants to eat the baby. That goes right along with this demon monkey persona. Yeah, the Lord of Light introduced here too, and they talk a little bit about the Sons of the Harpy.
mhm.
Yeah, Varys also talks about how many spies he has all over the city.
Little
Yeah,
bird.
that's something to take into account too. Varys and Kyron's little bird match they're having going. That's all I got to say.
It's you said little bird match that they have going on, and then you dropped.
No, that's all I was done.
Uh, okay.
I'm
Yeah,
just saying it's fun to watch.
yeah. It's yeah. Varys just has all of his spies as usual, because what is Varys without his spies? Pretty much nothing, relative, much less than he normally is. Um, and yeah, it's just them just adjusting to life without Daenerys and the people reacting to things without Daenerys. And then we see that the Masters have set Daenerys's ships on fire, or some ships on
Well,
fire.
the Sons of the Harpy, which
Mm-hmm.
is a mixture of seemingly wise masters and slaves, but later it's put more on the slaves at this point. But we see with the one man being risen up as high as he has, the guy who bought Tyrion. I can't remember his name. Maybe there's some deals going on. They did have money to burn and are desperate, so.
Yeah.
Rich factors.
It's hard to say, but yeah, Tyrion goes, well, it seems like we're not going to Westeros anytime soon. So all of us show watchers were like, come on. Because, Dany has been in Marine for 2 seasons now, almost 2 full seasons. So it's just like, when's she gonna go west? Or east? Sorry, not west, not east. Will she go west? And yeah, it's just like that. Almost like admittance of we need more time in Marine before we go away. It's just like, damn it. But yeah, I don't know. It's not much to completely say about this because it's just that Tyrion adjusting to a new place without its leader for all
Yeah.
those purposes. Um, Next, we see Jorah and Dario, and this is where they find the ring inside the ring.
I don't know. He walks straight to it. He doesn't even look anyone. He just walks straight to the ring. Come on, guys. Like, get on your hands and knees for just a second or something.
Pretend
Come
for
on.
5 seconds.
It's not. The sun isn't shining, so you don't see like a glimmer off the ring. None of it. He just walks straight to that shit. Just like Cat walks straight to that damn Cersei hair. He walks straight to this ring and grips it tightly. Watch Khaleesi.
Yeah,
That's about it. I mean, you would think they wouldn't be following that. They would be trying to find Drogon. You find Drogon's nest, then you search for Dany. That's what's gonna happen in the books if they even make it that far, which I don't even know. They may just, I don't know but if they're gonna go search, they would search for a large dragon instead of a tiny woman. That would make more sense.
yeah, and yeah, it's like it suspends your disbelief in terms of this actually being a thing. Um, because it's just walking right into the middle of a circle and being like, oh, I know where she is, where she's going, and it's just,
It's a
it
crop
just,
circle.
it
They've taken
brings,
her into outer space.
yeah, it brings you out of the story for like 10 seconds because you're like, how is that physically possible that happens, or realistic that actually happens? But um, Jorah's like, I know where they have taken her. Um, because he obviously knows that was a Khalasar that took her. Um, and yeah, it's just it's it could have been
And
more like more of a scavenger hunt in that little ring to find the ring, but I
the
guess
one ring to rule them all.
yeah,
What's
I guess the
are
speed
we
of the
gonna
process.
we're staying in Dothraki? Well, we look at Jorah like I don't know what face that is he's making, but it's creepy. Um
That one, yeah. So we'll uh, go to the Dosh,
I found it.
the Daenerys, the Daenerys scene. Um,
Well, I mean this points to the fact that Danny has seen a ghost because that dude's friends mother one time saw a ghost and her hair turned white, so that must be what happened to Danny. And in a sense, she did see a ghost. Oh, this is just kind of funny. And that one dude's hair right there, the guy in the background on the horse, his little
yeah,
poofy. That's definitely a mullet because he's got the ponytail on the back. He's all business up front. He's ready to go to his business meeting, and then once he leaves, he's gonna go slay some lamb people.
party in the back. Um, yeah. So Daenerys has been taken by a bunch of a big Dothraki horde, and she is brought before Khal Moro, which is one of an interesting name for like Dothraki uh, leader, a Khal. Um,
It's
and
Ron. Call Ron.
Moron, or Moron,
Yeah, that's what I'm just trying to be
and
subtle about it.
and so they want to treat her like she is this slave woman, and she's like this witch. His wives are
I
like,
mean, technically, she is. She had that Magi freaking Miramaster. They all know about that, and uh, people have heard what happened in that tent, and the word has spread as what how those eggs have hatched, but they know more so what happened with Khal Drogo. They, I mean, honestly, she's lucky they didn't kill her here. She gets all fresh and sassy with them, but man, you better be careful.
Yeah.
because they have every reason to kill you at this point. You didn't go back to the Dash Callion like you said like you're supposed to, like honor permits. You
Mm-hmm.
basically killed your husband in their eyes and turned him over to something that they think is an abomination and a magi. Also, the two dark magic rituals you performed, 2
Mm-hmm.
blood magic rituals. So, yeah, she does get lucky here. She just thinks he deserved to bow before me. But I think this guy's hubris gets to him as well. He thinks he's just really badass and the shit don't stink. So, they're equally matched to a certain point until fire is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is where later it does get a little iffy. But it still is like a blood
Mm-hmm.
ceremony, but we'll get into that later. Or whoever you have on. Ha! Here we
Yeah.
go.
And so they're just kill her and we'll be done with it. But then she reveals that she knows what they're talking about, what they're saying, because she learned Dothraki A very fast and B knows how to speak it very well. And yeah, and props, literally everybody props to Emilia Clarke for her not only being able to, because of her recent story that had come out about how she suffered 2 almost life-threatening strokes in the time between the beginning of Game of Thrones, between seasons 1 and around season 2 when this had happened. So the fact that she was able to um, be an actress and know lines, but also to learn a completely other made up language and say it very well is just awesome. And so the fact, and when she even mentions it, she's like, I'm not gonna lay with you though, and because I'm Daenerys and I'm the wife of Khal Drogo, and who is the son of Khal Boro or Bobro or however you want to pronounce it. Like, she gets kind of what she wants for 5 minutes, but then they're like, sweetie, sit down. You're gonna go to Vase Dothrak, which is just like, damn it, that's what I've avoided for the last. That's what
You gotta go to the retirement home.
I've avoided this stupid place for 5 years. It's like, god damn it.
Well, you play bingo, and you have Jello every day. There's all kinds of
Knitting
fun.
lessons, go do
Play
some
shuffleboard.
shuffleboard, play poker, or not even poker, go fish. Like
I don't know. Yeah, you can spend more time on this if you want, but it
no.
is what it is. It goes back to the Dosh Kalin, and the Dosh Kalin are every
Tend.
Khaleesi, when they're called dies, right? And I know we probably kind of explained this, but they have to go basically retire in Vice Dothrak, and they run it. They run shit. They're basically the politicians of that nation state, so to speak, and they are there at all times. The calls show up there every now and then with their Kalasas, and definitely once a year they usually meet, uh, if not more, to discuss their raids and all that. So, and the Dutch Killing are their advisors, give them advice, give them wisdom on what to do. So it's not as if it's a bad thing. It's just kind of you don't have any choice and you're forced into it.
Yeah. It's a young people retirement home, and we go and visit Vase Jothrak in the coming episode, so we can talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, the last person we get this episode that we haven't talked about yet is Arya, and Arya is now blind, and she is sitting in the streets of Bravos.
It is a bunch of pointless training. In the books, while she's blind, she's making poison. She's doing all these things. And here they just have her sitting on a damn street corner, hitting her, abusing her every now and then, not teaching her anything. Oh, she's learning to hear on her own. Well, why don't you actually do stuff instead of just throwing her a street corner for a fucking episode? Arya's my favorite character. This pisses me off so bad. Why do they do this? Oh, this episode kills me. No, it's going down now. I was going to give it a 6.5. I'm going to have to give it less. Pisses me off. Arya gets whacked in the face in just a second. Take that, because the wife is, very cool and a badass because she can beat the hell out of a blind girl. A freshly blind girl, too, that doesn't have her wits about her,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure someone who is, very capable and blind can beat the hell out of the wife. So, picking on blind people. Of course, this is completely out of character for everything that the House of Black and White is and stands for. I hope they redeem themselves and give the Faceless Men something in season 8 to wrap up the storyline and not make them look like just this weird place. It's just, yeah. It's hard to describe them unless someone's read the books, or you just go ahead and describe them how they're actually supposed to be. You have to make up for all this and explain why this is happening, and sorry about this, but it's just the show that does this. Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I like where she got to, how badass she is now, but the journey.
Yeah, a lot of people have talked about why would they spend time on, you can say, pointless characters or pointless storylines that don't really need wrapping up, like the House of Black and White, like Dario and him coming back into the story arc. But it makes sense for them to really wrap up Arya and the House of Black and White, because it looks like the House of Black and White just gives you training, like we talked about before, gives you training, and then it's like once you feel like you're done with it, it's just like, okay, well, we just wasted all of our efforts.
They're completely intertwined with what's going to happen with the end of the books. Like they're, Jaqen is Pate, who was the alchemist, who is now Pate, at with Sam at the damn Citadel with the key that unlocks every door and chamber in the Citadel. So, I mean, yeah. Come on, D&D, please.
Yeah, it has to wrap up nicely, because then it just looks like Arya's season 6, season 5 storyline, and it's just ooh. It ends ambiguous to Jaqen. Jaqen needs to come back because the actor is just so awesome, but B, because then it just makes the Faceless Men look like it's just a stupid organization that trains people in the art of the Faceless Men, and then if you want to leave, you can leave.
Also, if Arya isn't going to actually die, how the hell is her story going to wrap up? She's just going to live happily ever after and never hear from the Faceless Men again? That makes no sense. Yeah, she could flee, yes, and run west of Westeros, as people want to say. Or as I say, maybe she'll even flee to Dorne or go back. I think she's going to have to go back and serve. And it's foreshadowed with her seeing her face on Jack and Hagar, I think, when he took the poison. But that's my thoughts. I could be wrong. Yell at me in the comments.
Yeah, you tell us what you think about season 8 with Arya. It'll be hard pressed for me to actually then enjoy season 5 and season 6 Arya's storyline of training and all this if it means nothing for the Faceless Men. They built up the Faceless Man and Arya's character to do so much, and then just for them to just kind of drop it and leave it, it's just then what was the point in the end? But anyways, Yeah, I feel like they can devote 5 minutes even to just Jack, like a scene with just Jack and Arya again. Like, it's not too much to ask. But anyways.
Oh, I give it a 6. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a ranking. I give it 6 Ariel, Arya, Tristan redos.
Ariel, what?
Ariel, Arya, Tristan redos. Say that 3 times fast.
No. Ariel, Arya, Tristan redos. That. And 6.5? Yeah.
No, 6.
6?
I had to take a half off for this thing.
Yeah, so yeah, I would give this episode, I'll be generous, I'll give it 6.5. 6.5. Are you serious? With 6.5. Are you serious moments? Because first, Mel, just in general, this episode, at the end of this episode, and John not coming back from the dead. Like, come on, really? But yeah, Johnny, if you want, you can tell the people at home where to find you.
Yeah, I'll tell you real quick. You can find me on my channel, Johnny Be Crazy, and the Cylon Johns. A quickie's coming out this Sunday, so check for that. Might be a little late. I said that last week, but this one might be a little late because I got to get started on it. It's ready to go, but it's going to be a 2-parter. First part will be Sunday. Second part will hopefully be Wednesday, but we'll see. Maegor the Cruel, and then we'll have Joffrey, Peter Baelish as Peter Baelish. Bye, Peter Baelish. Littlefinger, don't call me that, but for the sake of the story, I'll say it, Littlefinger. So, with that, you'll see me, around doing the Grey Rat stream with Secrets of the Citadel, Geek Chat 1, Launch Corner. There will be one on my channel as well, and I think we'll be talking about the Dance of Dragons and the Maesters, what's going on there. It's going to be really, really fun coming up. We got locations in lore, Iron Islands. Also, there's things I am literally forgetting, but the best butt stream coming soon, and many other things. Just thank you so much for watching. Thank you for having me on, Mackenzie. If I keep going, it'll take me 30 minutes.
No, it's okay. Yeah, no, thank you for joining me. So next episode is that we'll be doing podcast style is episode 2, Home. We are going to be having a few different people appearing on podcast editions of Episode Club. Some of these episodes need ironing out, but we'll have a few surprise people that you know and have seen before on live editions of Episode Club. But because of so many things that are going on, we need extra people to help us. So we're going to enjoy that. So we'll have Home coming up. And yes, you can find me here on my channel, where on Wednesday night we will be talking Season 6, Episode 9, The Battle of the Bastards, which is just an awesome episode. Join us for that. You can also find me on Johnny's channel, and you can also find me on the Cylon Johns. Thank you guys so much for listening to us with this podcast edition of this episode, and we'll see you all in the next one. Bye, everyone.